if you're under 35 or even 40, you might hear a lot of older people saying things like the original old style character of this city has long since disappeared. The character that attracted a lot of people to come to Bangkok in the first place many years ago. The noise, the chaos, the people, the street food, the bars of course, and the smiles. Other old timers might say things like it was a lot friendlier back in the day, or the people were more down to earth and it was easier to go out late at night and have a good time. It was also a lot cheaper but a lot less organised. I took a walk around several different locations in Bangkok and you can make up your own mind. There were one or two eyebrows raised in the early 2000s when the iconic Siam Intercontinental Hotel was ruthlessly erased from the landscape to make way for the Siam Paragon shopping mall. The world famous hotel, which was well known for its hospitality, design and location, has since moved to a tower block in Chitlom, and you can safely say it's lost its iconic status. In the 1970s, this place was described as a cool hipster hangout with really good vibes, and naturally teenagers wanted to come and kill a few hours around here after school or on the weekends where they had everything catering for their needs. In those days it had just been renamed Siam Square from Pathumwan Square. The landowners wanted a trendier name to disassociate it from the old Pathumwan slum that had stood on this land until 1965 when it was destroyed by fire, a place locals used to describe as being full of gambling dens and vice. I think if any of those hipsters from the 70s visited this place nowadays, they'd get a bit of a shock, that's for sure. I'm at the site of the old Scala cinema here in Siam Square, and I'm here to have a good old moan about the future and how this once great cinema is about to be turned into a shopping mall. I made a video a year ago on Siam and I joked that it might become a shopping mall, and there are students from Chulalongkorn University demonstrating in their own way. I've seen the article in the Bangkok Post covering it, so I thought the least they could do if they build this mall is put a cinema in it with a corner dedicated to the heritage of this once great independent cinema. Oh, I just thought I'd remind you, I have a channel on YouTube, it's called Bangkok Pat, and on that channel there's over 40 locations around the city that I explore. Check out my channel, the link is in the description below, and I'll see you there soon. The Dusit Thani Hotel stood tall and proud on this corner for almost 50 years until it was demolished last year. The design, the layout, the iconic ballroom, the penthouse, and of course the rooms kept it top of the list of Thailand's best hotels for almost 5 decades. When I came here last year doing a video, I popped my head into the construction site, as you do, and I could see the remains of part of the front of the hotel and an interior wall which had bare wood, some gold trim, a mirror, and the edging of what looked like a table, and I assumed they were going to be retaining part of that for the new development as some kind of memorial. When I came back the next day, it was all smashed to pieces on the floor, and I thought that is a real shame. Here at MAKKASAN, you could be forgiven for assuming they've started construction on the brand new airport high-speed rail link, but this is just modernisation of many basic railway stations on this route here at Petbury MAKKASAN. Now, the reason why I bring that up is because developers have just taken control of the MAKKASAN railway land, and it's about to be developed into something that wasn't quite on the original plans. I remember just before this opened, we were sold this dream that we could check in here, hand over our luggage, and then take an express train to the airport and make a smooth transition from our seat on the train to our seat on the plane. It was all supposed to be so simple. Now, I'm sure there were probably 50 or 60 reasons why it didn't quite work out, but it was scrapped a couple of years later. But they always had plans to build another airport high-speed rail link here, an even faster one linking Utapao, Don Mueang and Suvarnabhumi. But surrounding it was supposed to be the new Central Park, Bangkok's new urban lung, the nature reserve, the history, the heritage and the architecture, all preserved from the old MAKKASAN train factory. And all that does not seem to be factoring in the new plans for the new development, which is a little bit disappointing. So that's a 2,000 baht fine if you get caught climbing over this wall into the old train graveyard. It's incredibly overgrown, so you probably wouldn't get very far anyway. And I would imagine it's probably too much to ask them to preserve all that. But I wonder if they realise how much value there is in there for scrap metal. So it's a pretty uncertain future for the history and heritage of railways around here in MAKKASAN, including all the old wooden houses built for employees of the State Railway of Thailand over a century ago. A lot of the houses are still standing and still occupied by family of State Railway of Thailand employees. A few miles down the track at Hua Lompong, another place that is slated to close and be commercially redeveloped, that will make it a pretty bleak prospect for two great landmarks in Thai railway history. The last 18 months or so, this part of SUKHUMVIT Road has seen its fair share of bankruptcies, and if it doesn't reopen soon, this place is going to be gentrified before our very eyes. Just across the road here used to be a place called Bullies, where you could get really good ribs, by the way. In its place, they're building a 24-hour gym, one of those fancy places where you can see through the glass and everyone's on the running machine. 10 years ago, that would have been completely unheard of around here. There's something nostalgic about Foodland when you walk around one of their supermarkets. It reminds me of Safeways in the 1980s.